What's up, guys? WWE Kid here, back again, here to do a video for Pro Wrestling U. Their 1-year anniversary show is coming up, and gotta say congratulations to those guys, Casey Strata and Joe Grutt. And they've asked myself, Backstage Pass, and Tom Bojack to do kind of videos on topics they have given us to answer, and that's what I'm going to do, as you have seen in the previous two videos with the Wrestling Roundup and Tom Bojack, and of course the Backstage Pass. So let's get right into it. Alright, first topic we got: when and why did I start watching pro wrestling? Alright, first off, why? To be honest with you, I don't know why. I really don't. I didn't have a specific reason. No one in my family is really a humongous wrestling fan, or even a wrestling fan. My dad is probably the only one that actually has a background in wrestling or watching wrestling, if you guys know what I mean. He always talked to me about how he watched the Crusher, and that was his favorite wrestler. So that's basically the only guy or person in my family that really has watched professional wrestling. And my mom's watched a little bit as well, but not as much, as seriousness as I do, or as you guys do. Or we're the real. You guys know what I mean. I'm not gonna go into it. But anyway, when did I start watching it? Now, I first remember watching wrestling back in the era of Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, Diesel, or that's what he was, Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, got Mankind, Undertaker, guys like that, in the early 90s, mid 90s, is when I first started first started to watch wrestling. But I wasn't really into it, to be honest with you. I was a really little kid, and I was just kind of like, oh wow, this is cool. And then as I got a little bit older, kind of in the Attitude Era was really the era that I really got into professional wrestling and just loved it. I mean, the first moment I remember actually being the moment that I became a wrestling fan. This is something I wanted to keep watching, wanted to stay up to tune with, watch the weekly shows, order the pay-per-views, was when I first saw Stone Cold and Bret Hart. That whole feud. That was really the first thing that got me into watching professional wrestling. And Stone Cold is the guy I have to thank, as well as The Rock. As much as I hate to admit it now, Triple H, DX at the time, guys along those lines were really the guys that got me into wrestling. So that was kind of what got me, and when I really started to watch professional wrestling was the Attitude Era, and pretty much Stone Cold and Bret Hart, their whole feud really got me into it. Now, to be honest with you, I did not watch WCW. I don't remember one specific moment at WCW I watched. I remember the NWO, but that's about it. I really didn't watch anything of WCW. I was a WWE or WWF fan at the time back then, and I still am. I was really loyal to that product. I really just, to me, WCW is like, it's here, but I'm kind of so into this, and Stone Cold and the Attitude Era, I don't really want to go and watch this, if you guys know what I mean. So that's kind of when I started watching wrestling. Alright, and to be honest with you, the first wrestler, though, that was my favorite wrestler, and some of you may not know who this is, I'm sure most of you do, and maybe it was your favorite, was Ahmed Johnson. The Pro River Plunge, or Jam, was probably one of my favorite moves of all time, and he's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. That was really the first guy I ever saw wrestle. And one more thing, I remember going to a house show where I live, and seeing a match between Kane and Stone Cold, and seeing Stone Cold come out, and just as he walked by me, because I was in the kind of the front row, and it was just like I was in awe of this guy. And I remember yelling, "Kane, you suck!" And I remember Kane turning around and kind of looking at me, and I was just like, oh my God. Just that moment, to be in that moment, especially as a little kid, where you don't know all the things you know now, you guys know what I mean, that's fake, yada yada, it was just a great experience. And I remember the first ever pay-per-view I saw was Vengeance, and it was on the card between, it was Undertaker versus John Cena. You had Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero, rest in peace. There was a couple. The main event was Big Show versus Brock Lesnar versus Kurt Angle, which is great. And that was the first ever live pay-per-view or pay-per-view event that I've ever seen. Unfortunately, that I've ever been to. It's been about 5 years since I've been to a wrestling show. So yeah, that's kind of when I really started becoming a wrestling fan. All right, next question: why did I want to do videos here on YouTube? To be honest with you, I was kind of like what Tom Bojack said. I kind of really didn't have the intent of making videos, or desire or anything like that. I just remember kind of just finding out about YouTube, to be honest with you, like 2 years ago in 2006. late 2006, early 2007. I was just kind of, at this time I was starting to get back into wrestling, because I stopped watching wrestling about the age of 12 and kind of got back into it like the age of 14 and a half, 15. And I remember coming on here and just, typing in wrestling, and all these guys would come on here. You guys know the big names. I remember watching their videos and kind of just saying, man, if these guys can do this, I can do it. So I came on here, and that's basically what started me off doing videos, and that's kind of why I did. And of course, you guys all know I took the whole year off, or 5 months, 6 months, half a year, whatever, and came back just because I was busy at the time. But that was kind of why I became a YouTube shooter. It's just because I saw all these other guys claiming to be wrestling fans, and all they did was critique everything and bitched about a certain wrestler. And I know I do that sometimes, but I didn't do it to the level of magnitude that these guys do. And I remember just being, man, I want to come on here and be an actual pro wrestling fan, just giving his opinions on the sport he loves, not a guy that's critiquing everything about it and claims to love the sport. So yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to do it. And alright, next one, we got the pro. When did I first watch Pro Wrestling U? First time I ever watched Pro Wrestling U, to be honest with you, was their video about expanding the Pro Wrestling U universe, is what they kind of started out. And of course, Backstage Pass was the first people part of it. And I remember watching this video, and this was after a month after it was posted. And I remember just watching this, go, man, these two guys are cool. These two guys are funny. They're just like me, they're regular wrestling fans, just giving opinions on a sport and business they love. And I remember just watching Joe Grunt and Casey Strand saying, man, these guys are just so funny, really entertaining, really nice guys. And I just loved watching their videos and loved their vids from the moment I watched that. And I remember at the time I watched the video, I had started posting videos. And I remember sending them a message saying, hey guys, what's up, this is my name, yada yada, I'm the WWE Kid. I was wondering if you guys are still doing this, if I could join you, and they fortunately said yes, and of course you guys know the rest is history. So yeah, that was about the first time I watched it. And then probably the Great American Bash review and preview was two of the first ever videos, or a couple first videos I've watched of pro wrestling. I loved them from the first time I saw it. I loved the videos. I just loved their show. I love Pro Wrestling U. It's a great show. I think, to be honest with you, I'm not just saying this because I'm part of the family universe, whatever you want to call it. I honestly feel that Joe Grunt and Casey Strada are probably two of the best guys on here, if not the best. I really feel that, as well as Backstage Pass and Tom Bojack. I think all three channels are really good, and they're really funny, entertaining people and guys that know what they're talking about, but they do it in a fashion as just a normal pro wrestling fan, not a, like I said before, not a person that claims to like it and just critiques everything about it. The smart marks, as wrestlers call them. So yeah, that's basically, that was the first time I started watching Pro Wrestling. It was that first video about their expansion, and then I asked them, of course, and they said yes, and it was that's the reason why I wanted to join it. This is the last topic, was because to me, like I said before, they were just professional wrestling fans, normal fans that were just giving their voice on a sport, opinion on a sport they love. You know what I mean? So that was the main reason why I wanted to join the Pro Wrestling U universe. And yeah, enough said. That's just kind of the reason I wanted to, and I'm glad they accepted. And it's been a hell of a run so far, 3 or 4 months. The family universe, whatever, Pro Wrestling U, and they've been on here for a year. So congratulations to them again. And yeah, I'm getting up there to a year, so I'll see Tom Bojack's getting some, more subscribers, as well as the Backstage Pass, as well as myself. So we're all expanding, with each other. We're all getting bigger with each other, subscriber-wise. They're up to past 300. I'm not sure. I think I'm like at 160, somewhere in there. And Bojack's getting close to 100, as well as the Backstage Pass. So it's just great. It's been a hell of a run. I believe the Pro Wrestling U family universe has been together for like 4 months now, so it's great. And again, congratulations to Joe Grunt and Casey Strada for your 1-year anniversary show, and can't wait to see the show, guys. So keep up the good work. Check out Pro Wrestling U, as I'm sure you watch this on their channel, and thank you to them. Without them, none of all of you subscribers that have subscribed to me would be possible. So thank you to Joe Grunt and Casey Strada, and congratulations, 1-year anniversary show. And I'm out, guys, so enjoy the next clip. Wrestling Wrap-Up's got a new sponsor. I'm sure you guys enjoy it. So until next time, guys, Pro Wrestling U, congratulations, peace. The video you just watched is sponsored by Sprite. Quench your thirst.